It's very early on day 2 of the Sanctuary Cove International Boat Show, and I'm here to cover the world premiere of Riviera's 4300 Sports Express. Now, this is an entirely new boat for Riviera. They've completely reimagined both the upper and lower decks on this boat. It's some really interesting features. I think you're going to really enjoy this. I can't wait to get on and show you around. So let's jump on and do the full tour. One of the things that Riviera do exceptionally well is listen to and incorporate the feedback of their owners into their designs. And evidence of this is this completely new boat. And what Riviera have leaned into is creating a boat that's got very, very distinctive areas for very specific purposes and how you would enjoy this boat on a day out or if you're overnighting on the boat. And the first of those areas is what they're calling here the sea deck. Now, there's some really clever things that Riviera have done. This obviously is a high-low platform, hydraulic, where you can pop your tender and lower that into the water. But there's also a section that lowers down to create a little place to sit with your feet in the water. That is very, very clever. So obviously owners have talked about, you know, how nice that would be. There's even cup holders, so you can sit there with your feet in the water, about to go for a snorkel or do whatever you want, and be right on waterline. I think that's very, very cool. And this area, this sea deck, is all about fun and action. And what they've done is, well, you notice you've got this bank here of cabinetry. I'll show you what's underneath the tops there. But what we've got in here is very, very cool. They've built in this very long storage locker for sea toys. That is a very large stand-up paddle board. So that runs quite a ways back underneath the entertaining deck, which we'll see in a minute. But this is fantastic. So whether you're into paddle boarding, snorkeling, any of those things, there is a ton of space in this sea deck area for all of those kind of toys that you would have. So you don't have to find them anywhere else in the boat. They're all at hand. I think that is very clever design. Underneath here, you've got some more storage like this. And then above that, we've got entertaining, catering, electric grill like this. We've also got a pop-up sink like that. And then, so this would be, what a terrific area this would be. I'd probably want to spend a lot of time here if this was my boat, having a great time swimming and grabbing a burger or a sausage off the back there. How good. Excellent. There's also some storage underneath these stairs for other things. So there's plenty of space here to put your toys and anything you need for a day out. And then we've got a transom door across like this, so you can secure this area if you've got smaller guests on board. There's access forward up the starboard side. We're going to have a look up there because they've done some very interesting things on the foredeck as well. But this is where things are really different. Now, typically Riviera, if this was a sports yacht, I'd be walking into a cockpit area and then forward of me would be a galley. But as you can see, we don't see that at all. This has the feeling of a big, open sports cockpit just built for entertaining, space, openness, and a great day out in the water. We've got these large seating areas here, all of which are under the cover of the hard top above me. So this is a place, if you don't want to be in the sun and you want to do more kind of entertaining with this boat, this is where you're going to do that up here. There is a awning that extends all the way out, so if you do want to shade that sea deck area, you can do that. But up here, this is where you want to be if you're going to be enjoying a few beverages, a nice chat. This table obviously leafs in and out. You can see those lovely cup holders are there to help you enjoy those beverages. But this is where you sit and enjoy conversation. You've still got an eye out through the back of the boat. It's brilliant. And this is also where you can do more entertaining, because we've got places like this for waste traps. We've got bigger sinks. Riviera will fit these out with anything you want. Ice makers. This is a refrigeration drawer. That's lovely. I like the way that this has been color coded. That's very often stainless steel. I think that looks lovely. And this is all for your stemware and glassware. So you've got a terrific little, almost like a little mini bar area just there, and perfect for serving drinks and nibbles and really enjoying yourself. Now, the other thing that Riviera have done, as you can see, there's a manually drop down television. Now, I really like this, and I'll tell you why. I could be sat down here in this entertaining deck and have a fantastic view of whatever's going on. But also, if I go all the way back onto the sports deck and I'm barbecuing or I'm in the water, I've also got a perfect view of that. So that is brilliant. This just is getting, the more on board I am, this feels like just the best fun that you'd have on the water. I love it. Forward of this entertaining area is the helm. A few new things. The helm seats are actually a different design altogether. Very, very smart. I'll just step down to give you the best view of these. There you go. Fold down footrests on both of those, which is very, very nice. A nice colorway. I like that design. But an open back design, and this is different to what we've typically seen from Riviera helm seats. And so again, completely reimagining their design. The helm itself, two large 20-inch Garmin multifunction displays. These air conditioning vents, they're very, very cool. And then they've gone for this carbon fiber inlay on the dash, and it's quite minimalist. It's a little bit different to what I've seen typically. We've got the Volvo Penta engine displays there. All of the switching, which looks great by the way, backlit with that blue lighting, looks fantastic. Steering wheel. And then, given that this is an owner-operator boat, the helm seat is all the way starboard, and all of the controls are at your fingertips. So the Volvo Penta joystick, thruster, engine controls there, and also the like the toggle control for the multi-functions is here as well. And then there's also a window right next to you that you can open up, pop your head out, look forward and aft to maneuver the boat safely through. So that is terrific. So we've seen the sea deck, we've seen that kind of entertaining, really fun deck area. And then the other place to show you is the lower deck, because this is where I was completely surprised by what I saw. Let me go down and show you why I was so surprised. It's a 2 cabin layout, and what we've got is a central entertaining, like another social zone. There's a corner galley over there with a good amount of refrigeration, freezer and cooling drawer, a 2-burner hob, a microwave, a sink, and a good amount of overhead storage. So you've got this open lounging area, and then the accommodation, the 2 cabins are at either ends of the boat. But here's where it's interesting. The bigger cabin, if you like, the main cabin, is this queen, but it completely opens up. I've never seen this before on a boat. I've certainly never seen it before on a Riviera, and it makes this feel huge. This is brilliant design. You can see here we've got this track for this this section, which is essentially a section of the wall, to close over. Like, that is so clever. That's like the way that glass doors would slide over. So you can close that off, and then you've got this door that comes across and closes off. So essentially, I'll move back to show you. So essentially you can close that cabin completely off like that. If you want to access the cabin, you can do that simply through the doorway. But then if you want this to be completely open, and you might just be a couple or two people who are only using this boat by yourselves, and you want the feeling of this openness, because when you come back into here, it's open plan. It's brilliant. I love it. Hanging lockers, port and starboard side like this, enough to get you away for the weekend like that. Decent amount of headroom in here. You can see the steps in there where the upper deck is stepped up, but that looks like that. So I don't know, for me this is really innovative. And the other thing is, if I'm lying in bed, I can watch television from in bed. That's awesome. So because this wall's like basically a movable section, you don't have a television mounted on the wall. Your television's over there and you can watch it from the bed. It's very, very clever design. I really, really like that. And obviously you can watch that from the lounge as well. So that's very, very cool. The second cabin is down here, and obviously there's a bit less headroom. It's a 43 foot boat, but the berths are really good. So that single berth there is very generous in size. An adult would be very comfortable there, and this is a double. So you could definitely accommodate 3 people down here. You could have a couple and a child over there. You could use this in any number of ways. But what is nice is the whole side windows are a good size. There's a little tray sort of that runs along the length of the bed to put your personal effects like that. There's little charging ports there for your phone. That's important, isn't it, these days? And this shelf that serves both the beds. Little reading lights like this. And when you're sat on the bed like I am now, there's a decent amount of headroom. I've got 6 inches above my head, so even for a pretty tall adult, once you're down here, comfortable to put your shoes on, what have you. It's comfortable once you're in here. There's storage underneath for linen, things like that. And they've also chosen to use a pretty neutral pale palette down here, and so that also helps with the feeling of space and openness. But when you're down here, obviously, again, you feel completely open to the rest of the boat. Just makes a boat of 43 feet feel much bigger. I really like it. For privacy, you can pull across this curtain. I suppose you'd want to be careful of what you're doing down here. But courtesy lights, that cantilevered open staircase like that, it is lovely. The other thing to show you, there's a single head that is shared by both cabins, but it's a nice size. So it looks like this. So you've got a vitreous basin there, the loo is here. Underneath you've got storage for all the bathroom essentials, some storage behind the mirrors like this, there's 2 of those, and then the shower stall is fully enclosed, nice big wand, and the thing I like, which is a little spot to sit. So that services both cabins. It's in the middle of both cabins. And that's the lower deck. As I said, completely different to anything Riviera currently has in their range. This arrangement, this open plan bedroom, very innovative, very taken with that. And with this bit of an atrium effect here, this thing just fills up with natural light. So well done. I think they've really nailed that section extremely well. Two areas to show you still. We're definitely going to go down and have a look at the engines, but let's just pass this lovely illuminated Riviera logo and move forward to what they're calling the sun deck. Now there's covers on here because the amount of dew that's gathered overnight, it just makes it easier to detail the boat, but I can describe for you what we've got here anyway. Now behind here is a big sun pad area. You can see that underneath there, so that's lovely. There's a bench seat here, and this table, you can probably guess, that actually swings out. So if you don't want to have that there, you don't have to have that there. But if you do, it's a great little design. You can see you've got little niches for you to pop your champagne glasses there. You've got all the anchor gear concealed there, so this creates another seating area. There's cushions that go on top there. And also, this can be completely shaded. So you can see here we've got little holes for your bimini poles to go into. So again, this is another zone where owners can come up if you want to have all the kids going crazy at the back of the boat, jumping in the water, splashing around. And if you want to come up here, put the bimini up, get some shade, have some champagne, play some tunes, this is the place you can do it. So you can really separate people out from the boat if you want to use it that way. What a terrific zone. Again, very different to what they've done before, and that table, very clever design. Perfect. So the last place to show you is the engines, and I'm going to open up this hatch and pop down. All right, I'll lower myself down here. I'll just keep coming a little bit further. All right, it's a little bit snug, but I know most of you like it when I do come down here and show you the engines. So here we go. Now there's not a lot of data yet on the performance because it is a brand new model. They've only delivered hull one during the show to the new owners, but what we do have is a pair of Volvo Penta D6 IPS drive engines. These are 400 horsepower each. There's an option to get a slightly bigger capacity, I think about a 480 horsepower engine, but you can see those there. They're on pod drives, which Riviera do with their sports yachts, and they've decided to do that with this Sports Express. But I'll just try to spin around and show you as much as I can. There isn't a lot of room down here. The Cummins generators are on board. The pod drives are further down. There are lights for down here too, by the way, but I haven't switched those on. And then we've got some of the batteries. Fuel filters are around here somewhere. Water for washdowns, etc. are over there. But as soon as we get some performance details, I'll put those in. I would assume that it will be similar to their sports yachts in terms of range, max speeds, cruising speeds. These boats typically are good for about 300 to 400 nautical miles of range, but I'm not going to speculate on that until I get some actual data. I'll close this hatch and then we'll wrap this up. Well, there it is, the brand new, it's the global launch. I think we're actually the first media channel to get on board on YouTube, so that's always a thrill. The Riviera 4300 Sports Express, completely different design. Anything we've seen from Riviera, I think they've nailed it. I think this would be an absolutely ripping boat to take out for a day or two. I reckon you could have a ball on this. Thank you as ever to Riviera. They are extremely accommodating, excellent to work with, and always make getting on their boats very, very easy, so I appreciate that. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video. You'll need to share it. People want to know about this, and I hope you enjoy it. I'll see you next week on another video. Bye for now.